Going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka New York Prepper, and wanted to do a video on my first rifle. So I'm curious what your first rifle is. Tell me in the comments what your first rifle was. And I'm not talking about like a BB gun or a 22, that your dad got you when you were in middle school or something like that. I'm talking about your first real gun, first real weapon, because 22, I mean, yeah, it's a firearm, but, I don't really consider it like a real rifle that's gonna have the power to, like, drop a big animal or, effectively stop a person, even though it can. But, I'm not trying to put down the 22. It's a great cartridge, but tell me what your first real rifle was, and put it in the comments. But I'll share with you guys my first rifle, and I hope you guys can see it here. This has a lot of sentimental value for me. My dad got this rifle for me when I was 16 years old. I'm 34 now, so that was in 2001. Yeah, I think 2001. This was my first rifle. It's a 45-70 government. If you don't know what the 45-70 government is, it's a very versatile and powerful round. It's cartridge. This cartridge was designed for buffalo hunting. It was created in the 1800s for shooting buffalo. It uses a 4.58 caliber bullet. And the overall length is 2.6 inches roughly, and the case length is 2.1 inch case. This is a Marlin 1895 22-inch barrel, lever action. I customized it a lot. I still want to add a big loop lever here because I still have the male slot lever, which is not that great for, cold weather. But I added the scout scope on it, which is just it's a Burris 2-7 by 32 millimeter handgun scope with a electric dot in the center. It has a regular crosshair. With a electric dot, a red dot in the center of the crosshair. I just have these flipped up scope caps here. It's 22-inch barrel. It's very handy as a brush gun, which is what I use it for. If I'm hunting here in New York State, there's a lot of big black bears where I hunt in the Catskills. Guys routinely shoot 500-600 pound black bears in the Catskills. And I've personally seen some really big bears up close. I've had close encounters with very big bears. So when you're in an area like that, you want to have a good brush gun with a short barrel, quick action. The lever's very quick, so I can quickly cycle follow-up shots. And you want something with a lot of power, that has a lot of kinetic energy, but also has a large diameter bullet, so it makes a big wound channel, which is what you want for a larger animal like a bear. Or if you're a bear, big 500-pound black bear's charging me, I want to have that 4.58 inch diameter bullet, 0.458 inch diameter bullet that's going to make a giant hole and break bones. It's got the 22-inch barrel, so it's nice and easy to swing through brush, and also bigger bullets are better at punching through brush, especially like round nose or flat nose bullets. They don't deflect as much as like 30 caliber or smaller bullets. This is what I call a real man's gun. This isn't a 223, this isn't a 308. This is what a real man shoots. Okay, this actually has real recoil. It generates about 4,000 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. So this puts it up to the level of a 375 H&H. People have killed elephants with this gun here, with the right bullets. It's not recommended, but a lot of guys have used this in Africa for hippopotamus, even Cape buffalo. There have been guys that have dropped Cape buffalo with this rifle. You know, even though it's not the best, because there are better options like the 458 Win Mag or 416 Rigby, you know, which have a little more velocity and a little more energy. But you can do it if you have to. I personally haven't shot any dangerous game with this gun, but this would be a really good choice for, you know, going to Alaska also. You know, it's a really nice gun. It handles well. Try to see if I could show you guys, you know, how it sits. You know, when I raise it up, I have the Scout scope, and the Scout scope is really nice. The Scout scope is just a forward-mounted scope. And with the forward-mounted scope, I have it on 2 power, and 2 power, I bring it up, and it's pretty much like a red dot sight. You know, as soon as I bring it up, the crosshair is right there, and it allows for very fast target acquisition. So if I'm in a situation where, you know, I'm hunting or I'm maneuvering through tough brush and, you know, the shots are up to 50 yards or even less than 50 yards, you know, this Scout scope is very useful for being able to quickly throw the gun up, and I can acquire my target really quickly, you know, without having to, you know, be stuck into like a tunnel, like a typical scope would, you know, a normal scope with a shorter eye relief. I'm going to be stuck into that tunnel, and I'm going to be trying to find where my target is. But, you know, with the Scout scope, it's mounted forward. You know, I have about probably 12 inches of clearance between the scope and my eye. So what this lets me do is, you know, let's say for example, you know, I'm maneuvering through a brushy area, and I see, you know, I see a bear pop out, and all I have to do is keep both of my eyes open, and I can bring the gun up, and pretty much, you know, it's on 2 power, and because the scope is mounted forward, I can pretty much, you know, just bring it right up, and, you know, the crosshair is right where I want it to be. You know, I don't have to spend any time, you know, looking for where my target is through the scope. I lift up, I bring my rifle up, and my crosshair is right where I need it to be, you know. So that's the advantage of a Scout scope, is for quick target acquisition, and it goes up to 7 power on this scope. So I could even shoot out to 200 yards with this if I had to. For the longer distance shots, I have this. This is what I'll show you guys what a 4570 bullet looks like. But this is the Hornady 325 grain flex tip hollow point. I think it's traveling around 2,100 feet per second. So it's 325 grain bullet. 2,100 feet per second, and this bullet is very accurate. I keep extra bullets here on my stock, you know, so if I'm in a situation where I need extra rounds, I can quickly grab it and load it in. You know, but I've shot with these bullets here out of this rifle. I mean, it shoots like a quarter MOA at 100 yards, you know, so I've had bullets go right into the same holes, you know, off of a good bench, off of a good sandbag. You know, resting it on a sandbag, I was able to put holes right one into another, you know, so it's very accurate for a lever gun. It's extremely accurate. This is the old Marlin. The Marlins are not made anymore. They were bought out by Remington a couple of years ago, so this is a, you know, an antique. You know, the company Marlin doesn't exist anymore. It was bought out by Remington. So, you know, I did a lot of custom work on this rifle. It weighs about 8 pounds without the scope. You know, with the scope, it probably adds another pound plus the extra, you know, rounds here. It's 9. I did some custom work here. Normally the mag tube would end like somewhere right here, and it would only hold 5 rounds. And what I did was, or I think it only held 4. I think it only held 4 plus 1 in the chamber. So what I did was I extended the mag tube all the way out. So now it holds 7 in the tube and 1 in the chamber. So I got 8 rounds of 4570. So that's a lot of power, you know. That's 8 rounds of 4570 I mean, there's not many animals on this earth that can take that much, punishment, 8 rounds of 45-70 and keep walking. I think even a T-Rex would stop after that. But interestingly enough, this is the same. It's not the same rifle. It's very similar to the rifle that was in Jurassic World that was used by the heck's his name? The actor in Jurassic World. Can't remember. Chris Pratt. He uses also a Marlin in that movie. That's his gun of choice, a 45-70 Marlin in the SBL, the stainless steel version, which is pretty much the same thing as this, but it's stainless steel and it's like 3 inches shorter. This is 22 inches, so his was, a little bit shorter, like probably out to here, and his also had laminate wood. I have walnut on mine. Mine's a nice walnut stock here. It's got a really nice walnut stock. I'll show you guys up close more of the rifle now. So I've done a lot of custom work to it, but as you can see, I've kept it in mint condition. Besides a few scratches on the wood, there's no rust or anything like that. This thing here I added. This is just a little rail, and I just put some rail covers on it to protect it. But this rail is if I want to add a flashlight. So if I'm in bear country and I'm camping or whatever, I want to have a flashlight because a lot of bears are active at night or they're active in low light situations. So you want to have a flashlight when you're in bear country, added onto your rifle. So this way you can illuminate the area. So you can attach a flashlight with this little rail that I added on. It's just a clamp-on rail that I clamped over the barrel. And, I just put some thread locker on it to keep it nice and tight. So I could put a flashlight there. I could even put a laser if I wanted to, but that's a little going overboard for a lever gun. So here's the recoil pad. This is a custom pad that I added. It's I think it's a Pachmayr triple magnum. I think it's like a Pachmayr triple magnum, but this recoil pad was like $100, and the reason why I got such a soft recoil pad is that this rifle has no porting on it. Doesn't have any muzzle brake. So that 4,000 foot-pounds of energy, I feel that directly into my body, and there's the big barrel. You can see how big the hole is for that bullet. So I put this pad on here. I sanded it myself. I had to grind it to fit nicely. So this was like, I spent like half a day just sanding it down so it had a nice perfect finish. You could see I did a really good job here. It looks really good, very professionally done. I spent a lot of time, but it's a really spongy, premium recoil pad that's usually used for shotgun shooters. As you can see, it has these little cells here that collapse, so it's extremely, when you shoot this gun, you have no pain in your shoulder at all, because this is like a pillow, it's just, the gun will kick up quite a bit, but it's not going to hurt your shoulder, so that makes it a lot better to shoot. I just added this little wrap here. This is just some cordage I wrapped around the lever so it protects my fingers. Because that steel against your fingers, when you're cycling the round, when you're cycling, it can kind of hurt after a while, especially with the recoil. But eventually I'd like to get a big loop lever here, just so I could use it with gloves. Let's see, what else did I do? I added I fixed up the magazine tube here. So this is where you actually load the cartridges in. It goes into this tubular magazine here, and there's a spring just like a shotgun, and I lightened up the spring on this loading gate here so it was nice and soft, so it's easy to put the rounds in. I'll show you real quick how easy it slides right in, and I'll just eject it now. So the loading gate is really soft. I had to sand down the loading gate in the back. There's a little hinge there that I sanded it down so it's a little softer, because when you buy these from the factory, the loading gates are extremely stiff and it's like almost impossible to load. You know, I don't know why they do that, but it scratches the brass, you know, because it has so much tension on it. So all you do if you want to do that, there's a screw here. You see the screw. You take this screw and it'll take the loading gate right off. It'll remove the loading gate, and the way the loading gate works is it's really simple actually. The screw, there's just a metal bar here behind the receiver here inside. There's just a little bar, and the bar acts as, you know, this basically it's just like a straight piece of metal here. And it's pretty thick. It's like maybe almost a ½ inch thick. So all I did was just sanded it on either side so it was a little bit thinner, and as a result it bends easier. You know, it's a lot, you can see how smooth it is. It doesn't require a ton of pressure. When you buy these 4570s from Marlin, the loading gates are so stiff, you know, so that's my tip if you want to lighten up your loading gate. If you're thinking about buying a Marlin, that's how you do it. Just untake that screw off and you'll see the metal here for the loading gate, the hinge, and just take a file and just file the hinge down so it's a little bit thinner and it'll bend a lot easier. It's really nice. I like it. And this rifle is solid steel. There's no plastic. There's no aluminum. Look at how beautiful the wood is here. It's the walnut. You know, it's just a really, at the time it was like $650. I probably put about $1,500 into custom features on this rifle. You know, I also put in some, I upgraded the magazine tube spring. So I put a stainless steel magazine tube spring so this doesn't rust out. Especially for dangerous game, you want to make sure your magazine tube spring is not rusting out. I put in a Wild West Guns ejector here. You can see that little silver piece in there. It's a I think it's stainless steel. You see that little ejector inside? That's the Wild West Guns stainless steel ejector. It's a little bit stronger than the factory one that they give you, so I highly recommend that. It's only like $15, and you just drop it right in. It's you know, much more reliable because it's a one-piece design. The factory is like a two-piece design, and it's just not as rugged. So you know, get the Wild West Guns ejector. And then I have I replaced the magazine tube follower. It's going to be a little hard to see here because there's not good lighting, but the magazine tube follower, I replaced that with an aluminum one because it comes with a plastic. And what else? You know, obviously the extension of the barrel. These sights here were expensive. These are Brockman. Let me see if you guys can see Brockman sights. I think this front sight was like $125 just on its own. It has wings and it has a tritium dot actually. I don't know if you guys can, if I shut the light off, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it has a tritium dot on it. Let's see if I can't show you guys. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Oh, there we go. You see the dot? Is it focusing? Yep, so there's the tritium dot in there, which is useful for bear defense. You know, if you have to defend your camp, you know, you're camped out for the night somewhere, or you're in low light conditions, you want to be able to see your iron sights in case, you know, you have to defend yourself against a dangerous animal. And it has the wings on either side, so it protects it from, you know, if I'm hiking through the woods and I bump this against a tree or a stone, it's not going to compromise my front sight. So that's the Brockman front sight here. You can look them up. They make a lot of nice stuff. And then on the back, I have a ghost ring. So this is my backup iron sights, and these are removable with a. This is just a screw here, but I have a ghost ring in the back, and you know, it's an XS Sights ghost ring. You can see the logo XS right there. You know, this is my backup iron sight. The ghost rings are really accurate, but they're not that great past like 25 yards, you know. So it's more for like, you know, dangerous game defense, bear defense. You know, the ghost ring is extremely quick target acquisition. It's much faster than, it's probably around as fast as express sights. If you guys are familiar with express sights, you know, it's pretty similar in terms of how quick you can acquire your sight picture. You know, I got the ghost rings from my backups, or if I'm just strictly going into bear country, and I'll take the scope off, and I'll just run with the iron sights by themselves. You know, and look at the nice, how polished they did, the really good bluing job right out of the factory. It's, you know, it's like a mirror finish here. It's super nice. They did a really good job. The Marlin company. And here's the scope. I'll show you guys the scope. It's a Burris Electro Dot. I don't think they even make it anymore. It's a Burris handgun scope. It's 2:7 magnification by 32 millimeters objective lens with a what are these? I don't know what these. I think these are 30 millimeter scope rings. So the tube is a 30 millimeter tube. The objective lens is 32. I'm sorry. The rings are 30 millimeter, which is pretty common. The objective lens is 32 millimeters, and the magnification is 2:7. So right now I have it on 2 power, but I can turn it up to 7. Here you can see the line here. It says, I don't know if you guys can read the little 2 there, but I can go up to 7 power. And the 7 power is good for up to 200 yards. And the 2 power is good for like close range, obviously. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to really see inside. Probably not. Oh, wait. Let's see. There we go. So you can see the crosshair there. That's what it looks like. Let me see if I can try to get it a little further. I forgot that this has the long... Oh, there we go. Hold on. I'll get it for you guys. It's so confusing here with this camera. Let me see. There we go. Wait. I'll get it. Oh, there we go. Alright, so as you can see, it's a very quick target acquisition. So if, let's say, you have this gun down, you can throw it up real quick, and you know your target is right there. It's a 2 power scope, so it's low magnification and it's mounted forward, so it's real easy to just grab it. And then I think the batteries are dead on this, but see if I can't turn the dot on. Yeah, I think the batteries are dead, but you know, basically this has a dot in the center of the crosshair. You know, so where the crosshair intersects, there's a red dot there, but my battery's dead, so it doesn't really work right now. So there's my water bottle. Yeah, this is the control for the red dot, and and it's quick detaching rings. So if, let's say, my scope gets compromised and I'm in a bear country, or if, you know, if we're talking about SHTF, I can quickly there's knobs here. I can quickly unscrew this and I'll be right on my iron sights. So that's my first rifle. I'll give you guys a second look so you can see. Look at that nice shiny bluing job that they did. Marlin's a really nice company. They've done a really good job. It has a hammer on it, and there's also a safety as well. So it has, you know, you have the hammer, and then you also have the safety button right here. So it's, you know, very easy to manipulate the safety here. There's the safety. Now it's safe. I don't know if you guys could see, it says safe there in white writing. So there's the safety, and I also put this rail here. This rail wasn't here. See how the rail? It's an extended rail. It's the excess lever rail. So I had to add that rail on it. So that didn't come with the gun. I had to add that on. But if you get the newer Marlins, because remember this is an old rifle from 2001, but the newer Marlins, they come with the rail and the ghost rings already from the factory. You know, you don't have to spend extra money. But back in those days, they didn't have rails. I don't even know if Picatinny rails were even used yet. So it's a really handy gun. You know, I love the scope. This is a very deadly gun. It's got a lot of power. This is what a real man shoots. You know, this ain't no 223. You know, no wimpy 223 that you know my grandma could shoot. You know, this is for real men. So this is really powerful. And I'll show you guys some of the cartridges here that I have. See, here's some buffalo bore, and 4570 is just really good for hand loading. If you want to get a lot of different use out of it, it's very versatile. You know, you can load very low pressure rounds and low pressure, and you can use it for anti-personnel, and then you could go up to high pressure and use it for bears or bison or, you know, dangerous game. So here I just have the this is a 430 grain. See if I could show you guys how big that is. 430 grain hard cast. It's 1950 feet per second, so it's shooting a 430 grain bullet at 1950 feet per second. So, you know, it's pretty powerful. That's, you know, 430 grains is about 1 ounce. So it's like a 1 ounce slug, but this penetration on this round here is extremely good penetration on this. I've shot this through oak trees. You know, it's extremely the hard cast. This is a special kind of lead. If you're not familiar with hard cast lead, hard cast lead is it's mixed with zinc and antimony, so it has a Rockwell hardness of like 30 or more. So it's very hard. You know, it's almost like steel, and it'll just punch through anything. You know, it's designed for dangerous games. So when you're dealing with a bear, you don't want to have a jacketed hollow point. You know, a jacketed hollow point is the worst choice for a bear. Okay, you want to have something like this that has penetration capabilities, because a bear is a huge animal and it has massive muscles and bones. You know, you need a bullet that's going to punch through and hit the boiler room, hit the vitals. So this is my bear load here when I'm in bear country. You know, and then I showed you the deer hunting load that I use when I hunt deer is this one. This is the 325 grain right here, Hornady. And then here I have some anti-personnel rounds. These are the lower pressure Remingtons. This is a 405 grain at 1300 feet per second. So this one is very low recoil. So it's easy to shoot, you know, if you're in a gunfight or whatever. And then here we have also a low pressure, low recoil 300 grain hollow point. So these would be my SHTF bullets. You know, if I have to defend my home against marauders, you know, I got these bad boys right here. And I mean, just look at the size of this bullet here. You know, if you get hit with this thing, look at where the crimp is. You see where the crimp is, where they crimped it? I mean, just look at how long that is. I've shot this into the dirt and recovered the bullets, and you get little silver dollars like this big. You know, if you get hit with this, doesn't matter where, you're going down. I don't care. It's just so much lead, you know. But these would be my anti-personnel rounds, and then here we got deer hunting and then bear hunting. So that's pretty much it. You know, that's my first rifle, my 4570. And you know, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So thanks for watching, and tell me what your first rifle was. And you know, I definitely recommend the 4570. It's a great rifle. You know, I wish I could have. I'll show you guys some range videos next time I go to the range. Once the weather breaks, I'll take this to the range and I'll show you guys, you know, how it performs. But you know, it's very accurate and powerful. So that's my first rifle, and So tell me what your first rifle was, and if you want to do a video response and, you know, explain all the details of it, go for it. You know, I'll watch it. So, alright guys, take care, and remember the 3 P's: prepare, practice, and persevere. Alright guys, God bless. Take care.